I don't think there's a typical child who comes to Treehouse. Everybody has their own experience. But if you want to look at the broad picture, it would start with a call to an abuse hotline and an investigation. And then that investigation would determine that at this point in time, the child's not safe to be in that home for whatever reason. Treehouse and Children's Home Society have had a long history together, and Treehouse was started by a group of people who were very concerned about some things happening in the community, and they formed the Treehouse. But they needed an entity to fall under that could provide the licensing and the other requirements by the state that are necessary to have a house like that. And Children's Home Society agreed to take Treehouse under their umbrella of child caring.
The days that I hate the most are when I have to remove children. I hate those days because especially when they're babies, it's like you're so innocent, you don't know what's going on, and you're just in an unfortunate situation at the time. On the flip side, it's very rewarding to see that you've actually helped the family. You've helped them, turn their lives around.
June did a great job of understanding this is a transition point. We've got these children that get pulled out of a situation that they shouldn't be in, and yet there's not a place for them to land just yet. We need an interim kind of a transitional point for them, and it's a spectacular idea. And I think she and a couple of other people that were kind of the original people that got behind this did a great job of setting this up, and it's certainly one of the legacies she leaves as one of the founders.
Treehouse's role is to provide basic love and care for that child. You can imagine it's a traumatic event, and so reducing the trauma as much as possible, helping that child feel like they're loved, they're supported, they're going to be okay.
The benefits of having children come into a location where they're able to stay in their community is absolutely essential. Every time a child moves, they lose time. I believe there was a study done that gave statistics, and this is about 2 years ago, that said every time a child is moved in school, they lose 6 months. And 6 months lost in school, you lose a grade. And not just that, but the more times a child is changed, the more they shut down, because it's just confirmation that they're not wanted. So if they're staying local, they keep the people they already know, they don't have to keep making those changes. And when you're making a huge change, like your whole life is being taken away from you, having the outside part of your life, like with school, your community, your church, your friends, at least having those things can keep you feeling like you have an anchor and like there's some sanity.
If it's deemed that the family can be given resources to help them, they can be given substance abuse treatment, they can go to domestic violence counseling, and hopefully ultimately be able to work through whatever it is that they're facing so that they can get back on their feet and care for their child.
Every case can't be that way, so the second goal after that is permanent guardianship with a fit and willing relative, if applicable. If not, then we'll go with a family friend or someone, in the community or something like that.
The mama or the dad, they're obviously an integral part of that child's life and need to be ongoing, and whatever reparations need to be made in order to reunite that family when it's the right time, that all needs to be done. And that takes a lot of effort with a lot of people, and it takes money and resources and time.
Children's needs are certainly one of those ones that are kind of heartfelt for a lot of us. But you look at where your money goes if you do donate money to Treehouse, and you realize, think about a child leaving their house in the middle of the night with a police officer and their parent in the background, and they're going to some strange place. And now instead of going to a foster home or some institution or possible juvenile home just as a holding tank for a day or two, they go to a house. And in that house is a bedroom, and in that house is a bed, and they've got their books with them and possibly some of their clothes with them, and they get to go to their same school the next day, and they get a regular breakfast the next morning, and their teddy bears and the things that they're used to. And this is the kind of thing that when you spend your money with Treehouse, you end up with. There's not a lot of overhead other than some of the administrative costs that, you know, there's a couple there that runs the house and keeps the children going, but it's money well spent, and it stays here in our community. It's not going somewhere else, and these are children in our community that have needs, and it's money well spent.